Welcome back to Mini-Modelog. This is What Have I Bought This Month, episode 15. If you've not been to the channel before, basically this video is my news video where I give you news from 40k, Age of Sigmar, Blood Bowl, Guild Ball, Necromunda, basically a lot of the model games that I play. Anything you see in a playlist, go check out the playlist because that's the kind of thing I cover. And I also cover things like paints, brushes, you know, the other bits of the hobby which don't always get enough view time on YouTube. So that's kind of what I do here. This month I bought the Mythic Blight Hauler, which is a push fit kit. This is to add to the Death Guard I've already done. If you've not seen that video, go check it out. So I'm gradually building my Death Guard. I wasn't going to get them originally, but as they've produced more and more models for the faction, I've really liked them. So I'm slowly going to build up my Death Guard, and you'll see more Death Guard on the channel as we go along. For Age of Sigmar, because obviously the big thing for Games Workshop this month is all about Age of Sigmar 2 Soul Wars. At first, I was like, shiny things. I want the malign sorcery, because I'm not a Stormcast Eternals player. I'm not a Nighthaunt player. I'm a Skaven player, and so the box set, as much as the rules interest me, I can get them for free. So I was like, well, I don't want the box set, don't want the core book. Need the General's Handbook, so obviously you need that for the points, and a couple of other things, but I wasn't sure whether to get Malign Sorcery. And after some conversations with some people on Facebook, I decided against it, and I bought the General's Handbook. So later this month I'll have a read of it, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion of the changes, as well as how good it is for you if you're a new player, whether it's worth getting or not. So do look out for that too. News-wise, obviously, at the moment, you go to the Games Workshop site and it's all Age of Sigmar, and being a player who plays a bit of everything, I get why, because it's a new edition, and we had the same thing. I had the same feelings when 40k came out, 8th edition. It was all about 40k, and I know the 40k players out there are getting a bit, come on, we're sick of Age of Sigmar now, give us something else. But you've kind of got to give it its day in the sun. It's the second edition of Age of Sigmar. I know Age of Sigmar technically isn't a new game, it was a rebirth of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but it's its second edition of its very new rule core set, and they have made moves forward. We're going to see some new things this season for it, and I'm really looking forward to playing more games, because I got into it at the tail end of Malign Portents, so even though it was AOS 1, I knew all these changes were coming, and was very much like, I need to wait before I dive in fully for Age of Sigmar. So, but anyway, pre-orders for Age of Sigmar include a Nighthaunt Battle Tome, the Sacrosanct Chamber Battle Tome. Special characters include the Lord Exorcist for the Stormcast and Lady Orlinda Mortiarch of Grief. I'm loving the Nighthaunt models, and if I was new to Age of Sigmar, they're not a bad faction to start with. They've got some beautiful, beautiful, quite easy to paint models too. They're not overly difficult, and the new paints that have come out are brilliant for them. The Nighthaunt Gloom, I think it is. They look great. I haven't tried them yet. I think I will be buying some though in the future. But these are all the pre-orders. And the other thing that came up was endless spells. Now I'm going to pop the photographs on this on my Instagram, so do check out my Instagram in the top bar. But there were images for endless spells which were faction specific. So you had the Nighthaunt ones and you had the Sacrosanct Chamber ones, and I was like, this is where the argument came about buying the General's Handbook or buying Malign Sorcery, because if I'm going to get endless spells which are faction specific, I might as well wait until my Skaven ones come, because they can't be as expensive as the box set, surely. There's only 3 or 4 of them, so they can't be 30 odd quid. It's got to be around the 15-20 quid mark. So I thought I will wait and see whether we will get more factions having endless spells. And I kind of put it up there on the Skaven pages that I'm associated with on Facebook and said, have you seen these? What do you think our chances are of, you know, getting a new battle tome and getting a new kind of endless spells? And the reaction was fantastic. A lot of people still banging that drum of clan rats for battle line, which includes myself. I think clan rats should be available for all Skaven clans, not just Verminous, but we won't get into that conversation. I'm going to do a new Skaven video soon and show you my army. I'm waiting to get a gimbal so I can actually show you properly for the camera, so that's why I've not done it yet, but I will in the future, I promise you. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So I went to the Skaven pages, and you guys have come up with some crazy things. We had Vermintide coming back from the original Warhammer Fantasy Battles magic. We had all sorts of different ideas of different magic spells that we could have. Plus I got some really good tips on what to buy for my army when I add the Thancor model in, because it was something I wanted to add in. Now he's had a points drop, which I'll talk about in the General's Handbook video later on in the month. But now he's had a points drop. I'm tempted to buy the model where before it was difficult to field him. But I just got to say thanks to all you guys for giving me your reactions. It was the same when I went on the Age of Sigmar page and asked, what are you buying? And everyone was like, oh, 2 versions of the box set, everything. And that's what got me into the Malign Sorcery conversation with a couple of players who were like, not interested in Malign Sorcery, it doesn't interest me in the slightest, don't like it, don't like the idea of it. Nice models, but nah. So I was like, well, I got into thinking, well, when would I use it? At the moment, I'm not playing Age of Sigmar nearly enough to warrant spending £36 on a set of models, which even though they look beautiful, probably wouldn't see any gameplay. So I've kind of held off. So that's why I haven't bought Malign Sorcery. So that's my Age of Sigmar stuff. Let's move on. There is some 40k in the form of Imperial Knights, and there was a great video about Renegade Knights by Duncan. If you've not seen it on the Warhammer TV page, I'll pop a link down below. It made me laugh. He is very much an Imperial Knight fan, and there's a lot of new Imperial Knights out. You've got to have a fair bit of pocket money for them. They're £100 a pop, and the box set I believe is 120 quid. So if you're going to go down the Imperial Knights route, you've got to have a few pennies to actually make a decent army, to be fair. But do go check those out on the Warhammer page, and I'll pop a link down below for those. Also seen on Facebook was boards for Shadespire. Now this was inside a White Dwarf. Now it's not this month, because I bought this month thinking it was this month, and it's not, it was last month possibly. Well, I knew we were getting new cards, but I didn't know we were getting boards. I'll give you more information when I've got it, and I'll keep my eyes open, and I'll let you guys know. Blood Bowl. We do have the Dark Elves on the horizon. I'm not sure if it's next month or the month after we'll see a release, but that will come with them and Spike Magazine too. You will see them on this channel. They're like they will be my second Blood Bowl team. I've obviously got the Skaven Scramblers, and I'll actually do a proper unboxing for those, because I didn't for the Skaven Scramblers so much. So you'll see those in the future. But that's, oh, lastly, Steamforged. There's a new minor guild come out for the fish team, for the fishermen. I think it's Farers or Wayfarers or Seafarers. I'm not quite sure of the name. It only popped up, and I did try and find it on their website, but I couldn't find anything about it. I've kind of pulled myself away from Guild Ball a bit because of the prices of the models are a bit out of my price range. For me to get a team, it's, you know, it's too expensive when I've got a lot of other things which I could buy for my Ultramarines, my Skaven, my Death Guard, and that's just to name 3. You know, that's not including any Shadespire stuff that comes, any Blood Bowl stuff that comes. I still haven't bought any Necromunda gangs yet. So, you know, it's a case of, that's why I've come away from Guild Ball. You may see some Guild Ball on the channel in the future, maybe some games of it. I'm hoping to sort something out and maybe, hopefully, maybe eventually do some battle reports. But I'm still in talks with someone to try and get that kind of ball rolling, but we shall see. But that's everything for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week I'll be doing the Blight Hauler, which will be an unboxing and a put together. I know it's a push fit model. Before everyone says, why do you do push fit models? I do it to show how difficult or easy it is. If you saw the Primary Sergeant one, they weren't that easy. Getting the heads in the right position and getting them clicked together, you needed like 3 hands, and I was like that. It's quite funny really. If you haven't checked out the video, be in the corner. But I'll see you next week. Have a good week. I hope you're all enjoying the sun. I know I am. And thanks very much for watching.